All right, welcome in everybody to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting one to dig into today.
Yeah.
So the title we're looking at today is Hawai'i Transculturation. And that's all we've got. It sounds like a podcast just waiting to happen.
It really does, yeah.
So we're going to sort of go off of this title and think about what transculturation specifically, might mean for Hawaii.
Right.
And just to kind of kick us off, have you ever thought about like when different cultures come together and they change each other?
Oh, yeah.
How that all kind of works?
For sure.
And I mean, just thinking about that, I mean, the title itself, Hawai'i Transculturation, what does that even mean?
Well, I think the title itself is kind of a big clue.
Okay.
Transculturation isn't just about one culture taking little bits and pieces from another one.
Okay.
It's much more like a two-way street where they really blend and they merge together and they create something totally new. It's think about it like less like just a simple exchange and more like culinary fusion.
Okay. Yeah, I like that culinary fusion.
Yeah.
So like, how does that like work in Hawaii? Because we've got like the very strong indigenous Hawaiian culture.
Yeah.
But then, you have all of the influence from, Western contact and then missionaries and then waves of immigration from Asia and other places too. So how do all of those ingredients sort of come together to create this unique flavor?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's not like one of those flavors just kind of takes over everything else.
Right.
Transculturation is about, these different elements being adopted and adapted by all of these different groups. Mm-hmm. And it's a really dynamic process.
So, I mean, if we were like archaeologists, right,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking for like signs of this in Hawaii, like what would we be looking for?
Yeah.
I mean, I think of like language, are there any examples where Hawaiian and English or maybe other languages have come together in interesting ways?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, anytime you have cultural contact, you're going to have some linguistic blending going on.
Yeah.
Also think about music.
Okay.
Have traditional Hawaiian music forms absorbed different instruments or melodies from other traditions.
Yeah.
Or maybe even art.
Okay.
Where you might have indigenous motifs that are reinterpreted using newer mediums or styles that were brought from different cultures. I mean, it's fascinating to think about all of these hybrid forms.
So these hybrid forms, it makes me think beyond just the historical influence. I mean, Hawaii today is still a very vibrant mix of all these different types of people.
Yeah.
So how is this blending? How is it happening today?
Right.
Like, are we seeing new forms of Hawaiian culture emerge right now from all this interaction?
Yeah, and I think, it really raises a question about what Hawaiian identity even is today.
Right.
I mean, how do individuals who live in Hawaii today, how do they see their own culture? Mm-hmm. What parts are very rooted in tradition?
Okay.
And what parts have adapted or merged with these newer influences? I mean, it's a constant give and take.
It's so interesting, right? Because, I mean, even with just this title, Hawai'i Transculturation, like,
right.
we can already start to see that it's a dynamic process.
Absolutely.
It's not just like cultures bumping into each other.
Right.
It's them actively like shaping each other.
Yeah.
To create this like uniquely Hawaiian culture.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, so to really understand Hawaii, I think you have to get like beyond this idea that one culture just replaced another. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And really think about how they've all kind of come together.
Yeah, it's much more, a weaving together. Yeah.
Than just one replacing the other.
Yeah, for sure. So have you ever considered how different cultures interact and change each other when they come into contact?
Yeah.
I mean, we just look at it real quick, right?
Yeah.
In the context of Hawaii.
Right. And I think the title Hawai'i Transculturation Podcast suggests that, there's this really powerful process of cultural exchange and fusion that's been going on in the islands.
Yeah, so think about Hawaii's history.
Yeah.
The original culture, and then all of the people who've come to the island since then.
Right.
How might those interactions have led to some really unique examples of transculturation? Yeah. And what aspects of Hawaiian culture today might be a blend of all these different influences?
Yeah, and I think this, just this little peek into the idea of Hawaiian transculturation.
Yeah.
It shows us that when we understand cultural exchange, it can give us a much deeper understanding of the identity and the development of any place, really.
Hmm.
So, I mean, what other cultural crossroads, around the world might have equally fascinating stories of transculturation?
It's a really interesting question, I think, that's worth thinking about
I know.
as we kind of, continue to explore these topics.
Definitely.
Yeah.